How are you? Hey, Curtis, real time. How's it
How's it going,
going?
Nicole? You all right?
Good, good. Yeah, how about you? Good?
Yeah, I'm in a good place. It's late here, 7 p.m., almost at bedtime, but I'll be all good. Good for a little while longer.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks for dropping by. And hello, you're in your airplane. Look, you flew on in for this.
Mhm.
Fly in and let's go. Hop in.
Great to see you. Hi, Sarah. How's it going? Good. It's good to see you, sweetie.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
That's
So,
okay. Yeah, it
hi,
happens,
Ernest.
right?
Yeah.
Good to see you. After a couple days, you get some rest after the summit?
hmm
Yeah, okay, good, good. All your stuff's up, so it's good. You're live on YouTube. So you got all your videos and stuff. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, guys. Well, we'll get into it because I'm a time person and I know everybody's got time to go. This is recorded. So if anybody wants to record and or has any questions, let feel free to ask any questions at all at any time, because that's what this is about. It's about learning how to create your own stage and your own workshop. And we will go ahead and I've got some links and everything that I'm going to share, so feel free. It is engageable, so we can get that on here. I'm gonna look for. Here we go. Webinar outline. Oopsies, it did not give me the right thing. Okay, well, we'll just get into it. And so if you guys we can introduce ourselves and let you know anything like that as well. So I'm so glad that you're here. And hey, so welcome to Rock the Revenue Workshop. I'm Nicole Borghi, your virtual summit hostess and chaos tamer and a caffeine enthusiast. Absolutely, because you know what? I'm enthusiastically happy about caffeine. If it wasn't for caffeine, I couldn't get through my summits or my webinars. And first off, give yourself some credit for showing up. And you could be scrolling or binging anything and hiding it, hiding away from your inbox, but instead you're here. And so I'm so happy to have you. And over the next hour and a half or so, we're going to strip away really the confusion that kills the tech tantrums, right? It gets crazy, and Sarah has worked with me on a summit, and she knows that there's a lot that goes into it. But I'm here to help out, and I really care about you getting on the stage, generating those leads, and sharing with your audience your expertise. That's what it is really about. Is who are you? What are you doing? And how can you do better? And how can you get out a little bit more and see, hey, how do we get through this and generate the leads? And that's mainly what it is all about, is getting those leads generated so you can have that fortune in the follow up and really get with that here. So, all right. So, whoops. For some reason, I am looking for my sheet here and I don't see it. Excuse me for a minute. I had to reboot everything. It seems you lost stuff, and that's part of what it is about going on into summits and getting out there. It's really like, hey, you know what? It's a little hard to do and it's a little hard to get out there, but really giving some pointers and creating your community, and really cultivating that and crafting bulletproof strategies and revenue opportunities. So who here has hosted? I know that Hala, you host a networking, right? You host your own networking. How did you come to the plan on that, or did you really just start and say, hey, if you want to come off on the mic and jump on in? I'd really like to know a little bit more about if you guys, what are your goals here, looking at for a stage? So talk a little bit about, what it was like to start the networking that you started.
Thank you. Well, it did help. I truly believe in the team community and the support as well too. So what happened? I was part of a community. I am part of a community and a team that makes it really easy. So what happened? In the beginning, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do these weekly things, especially when I'm more of an in-person person. So I didn't want to do any weekly Zoom. So I started first, it was about my own course coaching what I do. I did a few of those and I led it to another thing, but the whole point was I started by being consistent and persistent, no matter uh, if it's a holiday, birthday, or whatever. I have it done, and I do it in a brief format. It was 30 minutes. So that's how I started to having the same day time. And actually, it was Wednesdays, but then when the speed networking, but it was that consistency brought me to do the speed networking that I do, which is on Tuesdays. Tomorrow, right? I'm losing track of
Right.
the
It's
time, and it's
okay.
30 minutes. It's like the times are just going by so fast. So it's 30 minutes, and that's how I started to do those. But the whole point was doing it, stepping in, even scared, lean in, do it scared, and just get it done and do it. And then you can change it up. Like I love my speed networking, but now I'm even like, I want to create my own. And that's where the thing is people are saying use the networking since you have a whole bunch and lead to your next because it's only 30 minutes, have someone to do it, do something of your own the next 30 minutes while you have that crowd. But what I want to do, I was thinking of doing my workshop um, in addition to that, a separate one to create my workshop about my business on a separate, either do it monthly or do it weekly. So that's what's in the works for me right now.
So I'm just going to grab a pen here. So I think that's great to say that, hey, it can be a little daunting, but you just have to get on the mic and get to it. Really, what it is about is it's about generating leads, and that's exactly what you're doing in your networking. But when you network, people want to know more about the host. What is the host? Okay, you're now the expert. You have established yourself as the expert in the room by just hosting this event, and people show up and I see it. It just, and I can't always go because the time conflicts, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We still connect and we still show up to one another's and we see each other at events, and that's perfectly great. But really, what's your goal to unpack? And so one of your goals should definitely simply always be, I want lead generation because I need to have clients that I connect to. I need to have people that I can talk to, not just on social media, but they want to know more about you. And that's how you do that. You craft that through your email and your outreach. And of course, what is your giveaway? So I have like a membership giveaway, or not giveaway, but I have a membership launch that I'm doing like a monthly thing where I add groups. And what a great way to take this summit itself and say, hey, the workshops or the summits that I do, and say, hey, I want to share a little bit more about my membership, but I also want to help you along the way. And the membership just does a little bit more. It has groups. So what's your next step? So do you have a goal for that? A workshop is great monthly. I like doing a monthly.
Yeah.
Enough people
I,
see you do it, right? What's your
Right.
goal?
And I have the lead. Yeah, I have monetized it. If we want to talk about the speed networking, I had monetized speaking because a lot of people approach me constantly on messages and they want to speak. I said the only people that speak is 5 minutes. And in the beginning, I was hesitant to talk to say, oh, 5 minutes for 500, but I got the major JV directors on there that spoke. Mark spoke on there, David Ricklin spoke on there, James Lamb spoke on there. When you're committed in what you're creating, because a lot of people were coming back, they were getting clients like 10,000 into their program. I was generating a lot for others because I handpicked these attendees globally. So I put my time and energy and handpicked these globally for people. So I'm a lead generator, basically. That's
Right.
something it became of me. That's not what I do as a business, but I became that because I had so much joy and people were getting leads and it led to somewhere. And then what happened, I planted these on a platform that I use, so when they sign in, they go into the platform, which it's free to join. And what also happens, they get leads. Right now
Yeah.
it's over 260 and it keeps growing. So they're getting free leads off of that.
Right. And you need to turn that into your money too, so you can
Yeah, it
continue to
goes into
support
the
other
great
people, right?
discovery. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So they get the lifetime customers that way. And then I have the 5 minute speaking position. but I'm also getting their emails. And when I have events or stuff, I invite them and I build my relationship with them and invite them um, to my programs and stuff that I
Perfect.
offer.
That's absolutely perfect. And you are continuing to do that and nurture and grow. And I see a lot of people start to get leads, and then they just fall off the earth. And it's like, well, I can't find you anymore. And then you, not you personally, but the other person or the coach that's there is like, where did everybody go? Well, you stopped being there for them, they stop being there for you, right? So it's cyclical, it's energetic, and people forget about that sometimes.
Yes.
And so great share. Thank you so much because
Thank you.
you are doing so great with what you've got doing, and it's great to see you grow by leaps and bounds because we have cross. So anybody else want to come in and share their experience with stages or anything they're doing or looking to do? Like, do they have a goal? And then we'll get into more of looking at some strategies and developing. So if you want to say, hey, you got a goal, or is there anything else that you want to do? Like Sarah, do you have any plans for running a virtual event or doing a podcast or maybe a workshop?
Um, Probably, but not soon, not in the near future.
Okay.
Right now, I'm hosting in my networking meeting. Uh, I start hosting this since the pandemic started. So yeah, I have a group, but I have not monetized my group.
I think that that's beautiful what you say. You have the networking, you're doing that, you're out there, you're sharing with people, you're getting your message out there. But when people are with you, how do they find you after that? So do you share your products and services and market out to the people that come in? So at least you're making money for you and your community afterwards.
Uh, Not much, not much. Only a few people that seem like we have something that we can work together. Then we will get together personally, one to one. But I have not planned a widespread of marketing. I just want to bring people together and network and get myself known. So I know a lot of people, people know me, but that's it, not much. But when I have my thing going on, my event or anything, I can announce into the group. So
Well, that's perfect, but I would also suggest start to look at because sometimes we think we know who likes us and who wants to be power partners with us, but sometimes we just don't ask. It's like the pretty girl at the prom who doesn't get asked to dance because everybody thinks she's too pretty for them or she's got a boyfriend or something and nobody asks, right? And so she's just always the bridesmaid. What happens? So look at it that way. If it helps, just say, hey, reach out to other people through email marketing if you do, or invite other people, just as long as you connect with them because there's other forms or fashions. We're in business to make money, but what are we doing with that lead? And sometimes we're not always the best judge of character. We don't always know that maybe there's somebody that just hasn't been asked and they forget to ask you or you forget to ask them for a further connection or to be a power partner or work with them, and that's just what they're missing. So you can ask on your social media. That's a great way to do it. Or invite them to a one-to-one call. That's the simplest thing, but they might other ways share with them other forms and fashions that they can utilize a connection to you. Maybe they want a membership, right? Maybe they just want to be in a group, or maybe they want your services, but they need to know a little bit more. And so if you're just quickly networking, but you're not nurturing that sequence, we may be just missing an opportunity, right? Because sometimes not everybody buys the first day or first year. Sometimes they come back a year or two later. Maybe there's a different connection, a different energy. Curtis, do you host anything virtually? I know you coach, correct?
Correct in yes, I do coaching, and I run an 8-week program. But no, I don't do any form of summit. So I'm here to kind of lurk and learn more because I can see the appeal, but I can also see the appeal of running webinars. And I just want to see, to be completely honest, I didn't even know what a virtual summit was. Was that a very long Zoom call where sharing the screen with multiple speakers? Is it more than that? What exactly did that entail? So I'm here to learn more about that. And or just organically now starting to drift into different things where I'll myself and somebody else will offer something for an hour and I'll teach for a bit and they'll teach for a bit and we'll both have a freebie to give away, that kind of thing. That's happening organically. So I'm keen to learn more about the inner workings of a summit, the pros and cons and that kind of thing.
Well, perfect, because that's exactly what it is. It can seem like a long Zoom call, and it can be a snoozer too. I find in with the hounds, being in the hounds of business community, especially with Mike, and just doing a summit with Colleen Stubbs this last week, it's more the engagement. So the you want to remember that it's engaging. It's a great marketing tool to lead into a live event or to lead more to a larger coaching, right? So your workshop gives people maybe three takeaways, and we'll get a little bit more into that. And then you want to have problem solution. That's simply just a workshop. It's the old seminars of the old like 80s back in the day, if you guys ever did those, where they were the live one-to-one and you had the connection. You want the engagement. People don't all want, especially if you're over 40, you don't need all the bells and whistles because we get it all over the place. And frankly, it's exhausting. But if you're going to be on a virtual stage, you want to open up engagement. So this is a way to do it. Talk to the people in your audience. Don't do the old boring webinar where you're invited, and somebody just invited me to that the other week. I didn't engage with them. It was a recording. I was really upset because they're a great engaging person and being to talk to. And they said it was a coffee chat, grab your coffee, let's talk. It was just a boring webinar. So what's your marketing look like and what is your goal? So if you want to do a summit, speakers absolutely start with a workshop with the other person, give that freebie away, but do a nurture sequence so people can find you in a membership or, what are your levels? So we'll get more into the value ladder of kind of how that looks like. It works the same in any marketing tool, but you really want to nurture that sequence to engage not just in your, not just in your email or your social media, but people want to talk to you. And it's a great way. Workshop seminars are a great way for people to get a little bit more into what do you do? Give everything away. It's out there on the internet anywhere. Surprise, everybody can find it. It's there, it's out there. If we're all one and we're all connected, we are all plugged into the same source. What people want from you is the implementation. They want to know the strategy. They want the how. We've all created our why. Let's stop recreating our why. We know why we wake up. We know why we have our cup of coffee. It's to wake us up. We know why we eat breakfast. It's to fuel us. We know why we go to work because we got to pay bills. We want to raise a family. We know why we go on vacation. We have a why to everything. It's already there. We've already established that, plugged it in, and we speak it all the time. Maybe you just need to remember it. What's your passion? What's your purpose? But stages are a great way for people to really get into the nitty gritty of what you do. I was at on a stage, and then Katie, I want to ask you what your goal looks like for this. But I was at an event this morning, and I still don't know what this lady does. She's a wonderful person. I love her to death. She's such a sweetheart. She's so good. She's so giving, and. But the problem is, I still don't understand what she does. She talks about money, but we all do, and we all should. But what do you really do? So for me, I'm a very logical person. And so I kind of like, I have to have that simple thing. Hey, I host summits. That's why I put that here. Bingo, you know exactly what I do. You know, if you unwrap it, a chocolate bar wrapping, it says Hershey's and you get bubble gum, it's like, let's not, so get right to it so people understand because you don't want the confusion in what you're advertising. So Katie, if you like to come on and unmute, I'd love to know what your goal is, or if you're looking at hosting a workshop, or if you've hosted a workshop, a summit, or any virtual stage, if you want to come on.
Yes, I'm not sure if I want to host a summit. I've never done that before. I'm not quite sure what the difference is between things. I've been to summits and then I've been to like 3-day, 5-day events. Sometimes the events are 3 days and they're like 9 hours long. Sometimes it's 5 days and it's like 3 hours per day with homework in between. So I'm not quite sure what type of a summit I would want to do. I do want to get back into public speaking again. I haven't done it in a number of years. And I really haven't done too much virtually, but I'm starting to.
And it's good to hear that because that's another question, and I'm going to put you guys in here. I'm going to share my virtual summit mastery. It's just a PDF of a quick of kind of synopsis about virtual events, and I've got some more information. I'll put my YouTube in there as well, that just kind of show you the overview of what a summit does, and it simplifies everything so you can go, oh, really? It's that easy. It's really that easy. And so, Katie, seeing you a little later in the day after my coffee, of course, is always good to see you. But yeah, some of those events, and this is how I started. So I'm going to get into that. So if you have a goal, I say one thing is a summit is a great marketing budget if you want to do something live. It's good to nurture people into that, and that's what we did with Jean's summit. Is she's got that live event that's coming up in a week, and so people get to see that nitty gritty of what she's going to give them because she gives people so much all the time. So really honoring who she works with and what she does. So getting into that, having a fuel of engagement in there. But that's great to know. Hey, how does that work really when you want to host a summit? This is how I got into it. So if you don't know, I had 25 years of law enforcement and security background. And I kicked butt for a living. And I had this really cool bat belt that I wore, and it's got pepper spray and we had tasers and guns and all kinds of cool stuff because I was a Charlie's Angel kid and I had so much fun. I mean, I read Curtis's social media and he's the fall guy. I, I will always think of him. I love that show. It was just so much fun. And gosh, you're always doing something really just kick ass. But what I did was as I was getting into a business and learning about being an entrepreneur and a coach and all the woo, and I studied crystals as a child. I got to meet Marcel Vogel. So I was totally into the alternative medicine from the 80s, a child of the 70s and 80s growing up. Got into alternative healing and aromatherapy, and they're such opposites. But I grew up in Silicon Valley, so I can't help that because not only Marcel Vogel's there, but Stanford's there. You got Third Eye Spies. So you got Russell Targ and all these cool people doing remote viewing, staring at cows. They were studying people, getting this, studying them psychically for psychic warfare. There's a lot of research in Russia of what we were doing. If you read into those books, I love that stuff. Now, Silicon Valley is in the time space. They're breaking out the portals. They're CERN, different dimensions. They've done all this cool stuff. So with virtual stages, it runs into virtual reality. So being in Silicon Valley with Pong and Atari, and when all that stuff, the 10 and a half inch floppy disk, the 7-foot fax machines, you actually had to pick up the phone and dial. With all this in my background, the two worlds start to come together. I started working in a small AI company that was working in virtual reality. So I learned to be the nerdpreneur that I loved. 20 and really started working with that. 2020 hit. I did digress a little bit. 2020 hit when I was learning to be an entrepreneur, and I was working in casinos, which are, man, there's a lot of action in those casinos late at night. So much fun. And, that's when all the freaks come out, right? You get to have the blast. But 2020 hit, everything closed down, and I kind of got pushed into business. I got pushed out of my own business. They said, get out. I didn't want to follow the rules. So I left it without understanding what strategy was or what it really meant to connect and engage on social media. Wasn't a big social media person. but we had to have private lives. We had to sign contracts in a lot of the businesses I was in that we were not going to get on social media. We couldn't share things. And I'm still a very private person because part of that, but I was started to work in an AI company, and fast forward, I started to program into UE5 and build worlds in virtual reality, and I got tasked with educating and sharing within people what a virtual world would do for your company, would do for your business, and what it was going to do growing business and ROI. How could people make money in there? Along with digital graphics, along with AI imagery, and all this stuff started coming together. It was really cool and fun. It was a 10x, 100x version of a Zoom. So we held events in there. I started teaching people. We had worked with a lot of music industry was starting to come in, and the music, Snoop Dogg or Megadeth, Ozzy. Everybody had they had a virtual world. But what I was tasked to do was not only educating people how to get in there, but also with educating people how to make money in there. And hey, guess what? Here's a writer downer. Get your pens out, get your paper out for this. Is the same thing. You make money the same way in there as you do anywhere else. It is there. Don't let anybody tell you different. You're still using hyperlinks. You're still getting in there. We did it without equipment because we used something called spatial.io. You didn't have to have the glasses. I can't stand them. You didn't have to have the special gear. I didn't care for it. I wouldn't use it. But I wanted to break the barrier of people because I saw in 2020 how hard it was for people in 85 and 24 to get on Zoom because they never used it. It was fear because of the time, but now it's not really fear porn getting into these places. I think it's know-how at this point in time. So with educating people on that, it's a money maker. Zoom is a low barrier to entry. Everybody uses it. Get on a summit in there. Virtual reality is something that's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. But you also want to know that you can make money in there. But at the same time that I was tasked with that, I also became the chairwoman of Confronting Domestic Violence. And we wanted to hold a summit. So our first summit was in virtual reality because people can come in like a panda bear, they can come in like a giraffe, and they don't have to be seen. So it's an easy way to come to the stage without people having to see you. Yet on the platform we utilized, you can have that fake image or you can have a real image and create an avatar, or you can come in with a bubble and they can see your face just like we can here, except it's not a square, it's a circle. But you can use Zoom to get in there, or you can get in there and use Zoom to get out, so to live stream. So it works both ways, but it was great for domestic violence victims not only to share their story, but to stay anonymous if they needed to still continue to protect themselves. It's also a blessing for them, and we're doing some more summits in January. We're going to start looking at going back into the virtual space. But it is also a way to make money, sell your virtue and your merch, and have a business without people knowing you, but you can have interaction. And so if you get on Shopify and have a Shopify store, great for you selling your virtue and your merch. However, how do you talk to people? So if you still want to engage, you can engage with your customers without them seeing you, knowing you, or knowing your location. But again, if you want to and you're a regular Joe and you're okay showing your face, run a regular summit. Why? Because again, it's a low barrier to entry. And you can collect leads from all kinds of places, and people get to know you and they're comfortable in a smaller space. So it doesn't negate a live event. It is a great, it should be part of your marketing budget to hold a summit so you can establish your credibility and get leads. People want a little piece of you. They want to know you. They want to feel you. And they want to experience you. And the great thing about workshops is if you're an energy worker, they want to do a meditation with them. And tomorrow on our summit, Invisible to Influential, we're doing some meditations. We're doing some, hold hands, kumbaya, have a good day, Curtis. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely, I will. Thank you. But if you want to, it's a great way to feel a deeper connection because networking's great, but you don't have the one-to-one vulnerability with your clients, right? So you wanna deeper dive into your connection. So a workshop is great. A workshop can be for people who don't know you, which means a group is a people who have kind of already experienced you, right? So networking is a sort of live group, people who know you, people who can vouch for you, people who can refer you, and people who can get to know you. It's a lot of times open to the public, free or charged. But a private group, and so now I have a membership in that private group. We'll meet twice a month and they get to talk to each other and experience and workshop with each other. And so this is how I got into this. For me, it's very important for people to say, hey, like KD, you know, if you want to do a workshop and you have some experiences you want to share with people, that's good. If you want to hold a summit, and I say don't ever hold a free summit. I will say this on and record it and keep saying it again and again. Whoever said host a free event was a millionaire who gave you wrong information because they made their money. It's part of their marketing. So if you host a summit, whether I do it for you or someone else does it for you or you do it for yourself, please charge a fee somewhere. Charge a fee. And the reason for that is it takes 250 hours. One of the last summits I ran was over 264 hours. That meant one-to-one training, walking people through how to get their information up there, walking them through how to send out emails, text, phone calls, it's very much a concierge service, and if people want support, then it can be very costly, and you want to generate a connection. And I want to support people too, but we'll get in a little bit more. The reason I charge too is a percentage of that money goes to me supporting confronting domestic violence. And so that's another way for me to give back to the community. If I don't make money, I can't support the causes or the people I love. And it's very reciprocal. And so maybe one day it'll all be for free, but right now we have to be able to reciprocate. So it's very, very important. So let's get into some information and feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. And I'm just going to go through a little bit of the strategy. So, we talked about your virtual stages and what you're selling from your summit and what are you including and what are your bonuses and your price points. And there's a lot that goes on there into the marketing, right? A lot of people are being told and sold very much that they should jump on a podcast, everybody's podcast, and in some form or fashion you should, because your message has to get out there. If you haven't developed your message, you need to develop your message. So get on people's podcast. But some of it at some point has got to be a pay to play. You have to pay TEDx to get on their stage. They're not bringing you here for free. It costs money to hire a coach. It costs money to fill out the paperwork. That's not for free. I know people who have sent in applications to TEDx. It's cost them $3,000 just to start an application. So those stages are not free. But in return, when you're paying to be on someone's stage, that host should give you some quality time. They should all be aligned on the same message. You don't want to have different messages. You don't want somebody talking about frogs and birds and another person talking about airplanes, because unless you're talking only about flying, birds and airplanes kind of go together, but they really don't. It's apples and oranges, and so is it relatable? Is the subject relatable and everybody talking about the same thing? If you're on a podcast and you're burning time and you're overdoing it, is the host letting you get your message out there? Is the host allowing you to power partner? Are you referring each other? Are they bringing people back to you? That's what you have to ask. And albeit if you're doing a free stage and they have to wait for your podcast to come out after a few weeks, then that's what you have to ask your guests to do. Please, hey, I'm giving you a free stage. It may take a few weeks or a month or so to get out there. So please have patience. And so basically, let's work on what is your offer? So if you're having an event or you have a networking or you're having a workshop, what are you looking to offer people? So does anybody want to come on and say, hey, I'd like to have a virtual summit, but because a lot of people are told that you have to have this big studio launch to have an event, but people want to find you. So would you guys like to, would that be worthy to work on with you, is to say, hey, something about a goal or an offer, like a membership, a PDF. You want to get people on your one-to-one call. You want to talk to them about your coaching problem. What would problem project? What would you like to do?
It seems like a lot of people do coaching and things like that. I do not do coaching. I'm an educator in two different areas, solar energy and then also skincare and color artistry. But it just seems like the majority of people that I see that do summits, it's always about coaching. Is that true?
Not really. I do two forms of summits. I do a CEO summit. We just did one with the Hounds of Business, and where Curtis is from that community, and that's a networking community. But it's for CEOs. Did a CEO called it was called the Great Escape Plan. You're escaping corporate America. What do you need? You need licensing. You need tax services. You need strategy. You need networking. You need maybe you want to get into a franchise. You don't want to totally leave a corporate structure, but you still want to have some mean time to kind of have some flexibility. Some of it is coaching and some woo, but I have seen summits about from educators. You've got maybe a scientist summit. You have AI summits. You know, hey, some of the people are in virtual reality. There's virtual reality events. What is it that you want to do? So if you do solar, if you're doing solar, who would be a great power partner to be on a stage? Maybe it's a roofer. Hey,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
If you talk to a guy, and I don't know if you've thought of that, but hey, maybe Bobby Joe is a roofer. And if you want to put solar panels into your house and that's your goal and you're building a house, maybe tile roofing isn't your thing. Maybe a thatched roofing can't support it. I mean, I know it's a little off there. You don't, nobody does, who does thatch roofing out here, but you really got to think of what kind of roof would support the solar panel. Or do you have a portable one that can go on the side? So they need a little more land, they need a free space. Another power partner could be a home builder. You know, maybe you guys are affiliates. If he refers his clients as a home builder, or he's building a community, a suburban community, and he says, "Hey, if I refer people, am I going to get a finder's fee, whatever, maybe 500, $2, whatever, you know, whatever the fee is." He's going to refer you, but he'd be a great power partner to have on your stage. He's going to talk about homes, but since it's your event, you want to make sure that he does his call to action based on your alignment of your audience. So if you're going to only talk about solar panel, maybe you want to have the sun god Ra come in, right? You need to have sun. But if you want to have a better way to reach out to more people, is you're coming on stage, it's your summit, it's your credibility, but you're hosting this. You're going to speak throughout the day, but you're hosting it and you're bringing up power partners that say, "Hey, you want to face we, you know, if you build a house, you know, you want a home, maybe a home builder, maybe a roofer, maybe I don't know. Maybe you have school teachers because they have to buy homes. Maybe you have you know, somebody to educate on the whoever. I mean, there's people you want to get together. So if you're doing homes and home building, you might want to stay within that community. If you want to reach out to people that say, "Hey, you know, I want teachers to all get solar panel and learn more about it." Maybe that's a group you want to reach out to, or a financer like you got Valerie. Valerie talks finances. Well, Valerie's a great power partner with these people. Why? Maybe a little bit differently, but people have to know, hey, solar panels is an investment. I can't resell my house because in that contract is, I think it was California, Nevada, in those contracts when people resell their home, they have to sign up for the lease, right? Of the stupid solar panels. And if they don't want solar panels, it's just to them at that moment, it's a great thing when you buy a house and you're like, "Oh, solar panels are the greatest. I've got my own energy. I'm autonomous from everybody else. I'm self-sufficient." But when you go to sell the home, you're like, "Oh, those darn solar panels, nobody's going to buy into this contract." And so who is going to benefit you and talk the same language, talk to the same type of customer, because they're going to bring more of the same. You want that. You don't want a different customer. You want more of the same. Somebody that is congruent in the long term, in that space, so they will talk to the audience, and so you can nurture something that way. Maybe you're talking to people who are self-sustainable. Maybe you got a lot of survivors that are building homes and they want a community and they want to be self-sustaining. Maybe you've got some homesteaders that teach people how to homestead. You bring that person to the stage. That's a different summit. Maybe you've got somebody that teaches people, how to be how to have that substantial subsistence lifestyle. You want to bring that person in. Why are solar panels good? Because you can kind of live off the grid. So you've got people that are maybe living off the grid that feel, hey, maybe those are the people in your area. So look at the type of person in your area. Or the great thing about a virtual event is you can talk to different people in different areas that will still talk about the same thing. So it really depends on what you do, and then you can have a virtual event. And then you can have a live event in your community. But you do the same. It works the same. You just have to strategize to who your audience is, what your goal is, and who you're looking at. And that's what a needs assessment will do with me. And that's what I do with my clients is we sit down and talk on what's your goal, simplify stuff. Is your goal to make $10,000? Is your goal to launch a new program? Is your goal to launch a membership? Or maybe your goal is to just generate leads. You do that anyway. So have a different call to action, just besides people connecting to your mailbox. And definitely have a free giveaway that's going to take people's email addresses so you can reach out to the people, have the follow-up emails ready to go. And email building is another thing. But really, whatever your goal is to raise $10,000 to get a Birkin bag, who knows why, because you can get those boring bags at Walmart. But that doesn't mean anything. It's not my thought, it's your thought. Whatever your goal is. If you just say, I want to reach everybody and anybody and I want to change the world, so what? I want to change the world. I'm a chairwoman of Confronting Domestic Violence. But I want post-traumatic growth. I want those people to make money so they can be free and not go back to their home. So I have different goals in different places, but they're all the kind of the same. And everybody should have that, because if you're only helping one person, you're not changing the lives of millions and you're not changing the community. And so you want to help a million people, not just one. And how do you do that? You educate them and give them stuff so you can have connection. Do what Facebook did to everybody else. Take their data. People are giving it to you for free. Use it kindly. Be nice about it. Don't take advantage. So yes, thank you. Beautiful. And so that's another way. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, if you ever just want to get on a phone call with me and you just want to talk about it, you're like, hey, I'm not ready to do it yet. Let's look at, are you not doing it because you don't understand the money you can make? Are you not doing it because there's an investment? But there's other things you can do to start to market yourself, so where you can make the money to do a summit or do a one day event. And so that's what I do is help people that way. So it's just very and if you guys want to connect with me, I'd love to talk to you about what you're doing and what your goals are. And it's free to do that, because I think that more people should reach out. The tools are out there and we should do that. So you have your hand up, sweetie. Go ahead.
Yes, doing a summit, it requires a lot of work. There's a lot of different parts, so it's good that you're offering your support. And also, um, I'm also part of a group that does starting to do monthly summits. But other than that, it's a great, and it's a big email builder, because I've heard people were just doing summits and they build their lists like to close to 50K. So it does build huge lists, but you need to know what to do with it, and having someone like you to guide it's very super important. So thank you for what you're doing. and everything. So with that being said, I do need to hop off, but I wanted to make sure to say the value you are bringing is huge. Thank you.
Thank you, honey. Awesome. Have a great day. I know that TGD is moving forward with that. So you know, it all depends on how you want to do it and what cause or a form or fashion that you're supporting. But thank you so much for that. It is great. Sarah, do you have any questions?
I can't think of anything right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So let's get into so the next thing would be, you know, you want to be like your goal and then establish your goal and then work backwards. What do you want to hit? Where do you want to be? Why do you what is your ultimate goal? Whether that's a launch of a business, of a membership, of a package, a consulting package, coaching consulting. You want people to learn more about your business, but you want to drive people to some type of value. You do because they want to know that you're worth money. And so when you talk to high ticket coaches and you start to do that, you don't want to give anything away. Not everything can be given away. There is some value, but people no longer value if you give everything away for free. And if you do that, you will never get to that high ticket client. So if you're wondering why you're not reaching out far enough, you're not getting enough leads, that's one, host a summit, host a workshop, host a virtual event. Two is you want to read if you want to reach higher ticket people, you want to establish yourself as the leader in your industry, and that's how you do that. And then you want to create what's your offer. So, you know, what is the offer? So if you had an event, what would you offer? So Kat, I'm gonna come back to you. What would be something you offer through your solar? Is it just like a huge solar package? Are you looking to educate, or do you want to talk more about your creations?
Well, luckily the fire alarm just went off. I know when I was speaking before it was going off and we just have to wait a little bit. Well, what I do is I'll do a one-on-one, like to see if their house, if they're a homeowner, to see if their house even qualifies. A lot of people are sold, and it just really aggravates me. They're sold solar energy when their house really doesn't qualify. There's too much shade. It's not the right sun barrier, that type of thing. So I would give them a free consultation on their e- evaluation of their home to see if it even qualifies. Now, if their home does not qualify to be for solar energy panels, depending on what state they're in, I also could offer them a thing called autosave, which it's like a community solar. A lot of people don't realize that all these other electric bills are hiking up and jumping so high and they can't figure out why. It's because a lot of these electric companies are building solar farms so that they have community solar. So they're going to the PUC and asking for this funding. And in Pennsylvania alone, there was one electric company that got a 48% increase, 48% in June of 2025, just so they could go and build a solar farm, and it passes on to the clients. So with the autosave, what that does, whether they're a homeowner or a renter, or a small business, it'll go and tell them, okay, the current company that you have, if that's a good rate for that month, you stay with it. If it's not a good rate, you flip over to autosave and you save money. And it's every single month it's evaluated. So that is something unique and something really different that um, the second company I'm with that does that. So those are the two things that, and I would do an evaluation.
Well,
Yeah.
an evaluation would be great. And then so of course you have to have that, you have to share in that when you're strategizing in the evaluation, you want to share with people always what saves them time, what saves them money, right?
Hmm.
And
Right.
it's a freedom thing too with people still with the change, because how many people with all the turbulence in 2020 and beyond, what are concerns? So let's go with what are concerns of people in the area when you talk to them? What are their main concerns that they feel? Because you know what they need, but what do they want that you talk to?
Well, a lot of them, the people that I do talk to, they do want solar. They want to know what they have to do to make their home accessible for solar.
Mm-hmm.
So I had like one client, they they didn't want a ground mount. They wanted it on the house to generate to two homes, but they didn't have um enough roof space on the smaller retirement home. They didn't want to cut down a 200-year-old black walnut tree, which is very rare anymore. So
Right.
what they did was they built the walkway between the two homes, so it gave them more roof space in where there was more sun for them to get the solar. And plus, this year they get a 30% tax credit. Now, that was supposed to be in effect till 2035, but with the big beautiful bill, he's taking that away as of December 31st, 2025.
Well, and
So,
the thing is it's when you get into politics, it's going to be here today, gone tomorrow, always, right?
yes.
So
And it
I'm
could come back
52.
again once he's out of
Right.
office.
So I'm 52, and it's like, and I of course we went through the same thing with confronting domestic violence is sponsors or outreach or money and stuff. It might go away and it might come back. So if people have something to take advantage of, that's always better. But here's a few offers that you can possibly create from a virtual stage or a workshop to give people your consultation, which is a free solar saving consultation. Hey, I'm going to educate you. So 3 points. And then one main solution. Give them solutions. People need solutions. But what do they want? Hey, if you want more space, here's some ideas. People don't want 101 testimonies. If
No.
I don't know you, I don't care what your testimony is. I have no relationship to you. I know Sarah. We've been in a summit together. She's a wonderful person. I've heard her story. I've connected to her. She's a giving and wonderful person. I know you. We talk in the morning. We've talked at different
Hmm.
times through different events. I know you. So if you gave me a testimony, cool. I love that. But if I don't know people, it doesn't mean dirt, and they can be AI generate who knows what. Maybe you're finding them saving somewhere. Maybe there's a saving somewhere. Hey, if you get this home in this area, you're going to get savings here. Maybe you have a PDF that's a solar plan preparation, but kind of a sexy title, right? So, and eye-catching. Do your people like sassy or fun, or maybe you got a lot of, tight community. There's something that those people look for and want and value. You know, if maybe there's a bill swap challenge that you want to try and say, hey, send me your last 3-month power bills, and we'll show you what that would look like with solar. But you do a challenge online, or you do a challenge in some groups and say, hey, I'm running a bill swap challenge this month. I want to share with you what you can save. Hey, you want to save some money? Here you go. This money, if you save $500, the first person that I can show to pay $500 gets a free consultation with me. They get a box of lollipops, whatever, or there's maybe there's you can call it maybe a solar smart home bundle, sign up with a consultation and receive some type of free gift or discount that you already run, but they don't know about it, right? Maybe there's a 10% discount if they sign the lease or whatever the contract is before 2026. You give them a $500 discount anyway Don't tell them that. Just say, I'm giving it to you. You're not lying. You're just
Hmm.
calling it something different. You're just offering it and the value, but you have value in your, you know, maybe if you want educational offers, you get a free masterclass replay and a phone call with me. Maybe there's a community. I don't know about Facebook because their communities are getting all weird anyway, but maybe there's a Substack you write or something. Maybe there's a referral program that you have. Do you have referral
I
programs?
do. I do have a referral program, whereas if you refer someone to me and they decide to go solar, you can get up to $1,000.
Okay, so great. You get a consult, that's value off your workshop.
Oh,
So
okay.
so if you have a workshop, you don't tell people about the bonuses and giveaways. You just tell them there are bonuses and giveaways. Come, show up, show your face, get off camera, ask some questions. You get this cool stuff. You have to be there to get it. And if you still want to offer it to another group of people, that's fine too. You can always extend it, but make it that, then, there, it, period. And also, hey, run the challenge before the event. We're going to run a
Okay.
challenge and announce the winner at the workshop. I think workshops maybe are a great way to start, and then you can get to know people. You can have another speaker come on stage, right? You can do it like, hey, there's you. You're establishing yourself as the host of the workshop, and then your power partner, the home builder, the roofer, whatever. Have them speak, but
Okay.
have them talk about you need to get with this person and you need to put it down on paper. We have to be on the same page. I know sometimes it's common sense, but common sense is not common. It hasn't been, and it's definitely not now. Talk to them and say, "Hey, I'm doing this workshop. I want you to refer. I'll refer back to you. You can have your own call to action, or we can have a call to action together, but we need to focus on the same stuff." So if you have a roofer, they talk about the value of a good roof or a value of maintenance on their roof, but then they talk about more maintenance on your roof with solar panels, building the right roof on your new house for solar panels, right? So they should come
Right.
back to that. And you talk about solar panels and you're talking about energy savings and all that, and you go back to the roofer, go back to the roofer. Do a callback. Boom. Oh, you remember earlier the roofer was talking about this. This is why solar panels, this type of solar panel is great because it works on most roofs. You do blah blah blah. We're power partners. We work hand in hand. So people want to know that you have outreach and connection because if it's just you alone, nobody trusts the loaner anymore because they don't know if they're going to show up the next day. If you have a
Okay.
community and a group, it establishes more authority. So those kind of things, hey, there's maybe you do a food drive. It's November. Hey, we're doing the solar panel food drive. Drop your cans off with the Boy Scouts. Whatever. Hey, we'll do it a solar panel food drive. We'll give you free sock puppets. We'll give a free turkey to one person. Whatever, right? And then you do a workshop. But they're going to know you ahead of that. And so now the community this is how you get your live community in. You want engagement in the live community, but you also want your live community to come to the workshop and your workshop people that maybe can go out live or understand the value of having you or where do you work? So, that's another place too, is your power partnership should be in a comparable industry and they should also maybe, if you're hosting people in the area, if you have a good connection with someone in the area.
Okay.
Because if you have a partner that's already in your area that you work with, the community is more apt to support you because they know you guys. And
Hmm.
they'll come on virtually, and then you can have a live event after that. A live giveaway. It's Christmas, your food run. Hey, you guys come to this event. I'll see you out in front of the supermarket on December 10. And we're doing a canned food drive, and the winner gets a turkey and somebody gets something else.
Oh, okay.
Right? Boom. at the church, whatever. We're given we're having a buffet, like, uh, you know, um, maybe you're having like a Christmas buffet or something. Everybody a potluck, or right. Um, that can be, it just depends on your community and how they engage, right? So in California, you can't have a potluck. Everything's got to be done a certain way. But if you're in a smaller community, maybe a more rural community or the flyover states, you know, I'm in Florida, we can do that here. People will be more apt to come out, right? Because they're more engaging. So just really, there's some ideas there. There's things you're giving away already. Put it in a value ladder, right? There's something free you give away anyway. Then the next thing is, so your freebie should be worth, can be worth 40, 47. I don't know why we still do seven. So 50 and under. Everybody understands how that works. 99.99 cents is still a dollar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Plus taxes, what, a dollar, 5, 6, 7, whatever. But so then your second value should be 50 to 100. So if you want people to take a call to action and you're giving something away, what's it for? If you're giving away, because your is a higher dollar. It's a higher
Yeah.
dollar preparation. But you know what? I've seen doctors do workshops. They do live seminars now, but in 2020, they started doing virtual workshops. Doctors, scientists, teachers.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah. But be open, be fun, have fun with it. Expect people to show up late, leave early, have their cameras off. Get over it.
Hmm.
That's what they're going to do. Be able to deliver the message. You could always say, hey, it'd be great if you turn on the camera for the speakers, and come in when you can. We would love that. Um, and you're always welcome when you're hosting an event. People pop in your rooms, just say, hey, we know you got to turn off your camera. Can you at least turn on your camera so we can identify you?
Okay.
Zoom bombers happen. They don't happen. They come. And you know what the great thing about Zoom is? You can press the remove button. You can kick anybody you want out and ban them for life. It's really easy. So
Oh, okay.
so that's these are the good things with a co-host. And this is why a co-host lets people in. A co-host lets you stand out and shine. A co-host reacts in the chat. A co-host does things like throw stuff in there, message people. The co-host can record for you. So if these are things that are too much and you don't want to have to think about it, have somebody there, whether it's part of your team or you have somebody like me. That's what you needed, to have a co-host so you can be the best you.
Okay.
Right? Because if you're going to have an event and you have 1,000 people, you're not going to want to cook it. You don't want to decorate the hall. You don't want to do all that, right? You hire people to do that. And because if you're slaving away at everything, then you're going to be tired and exhausted, and it's going to show when you show up, right? So you kind of look at it the same way. And then, a co-host can reach out to people if they're late coming in as a speaker, get out some emails for you. There's all kinds of things that we don't tend to look at because anybody can host a summit. But is there somebody there to watch you and go, hey, did you remember to put the email out 10 minutes before? Did you remember to email people yesterday, this morning? You need somebody to remind you in that 24-hour period before the event to look out for your best interests, because you're going to be worried about your subject, you're going to be worried about everything else going on. So that's what you want, is to have support, and that's where that comes in. And so like group stuff and things like that, that's what I do for the events, like with Jean, or with for her Choose You event. That's what was great about that, is somebody like me, I'm the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. I do all the tech stuff, and I'm like, hey, don't forget to do this. And then always a week before the event and 24 hours before the event, somebody wants something changed. and your speakers forget to send stuff out, or they haven't gotten back to you to confirm the time. But those things you don't have to worry about, and then putting things into place. And so that's why you want to strategize and talk about that. Be and be okay with it. It happens. And you do really want to reach out. You should have a list of people always in an event that you can reach out to that will show up and support you. So if it's your first event, maybe you have your mom, your sister, your brother, your husband, the next door neighbor. You don't want the dog and the cat, but you know what I mean? You might want to call people and say, hey, I need 5 of you to show up for me. So if
Mm.
and if you do that, remember, still talk to the camera and still record it. Because you know what? Everybody else that saw your social media post and everybody else that saw your email and everybody else you told you were having this event and you talked your head off about it to the whole world, they want to know that there's a replay and maybe some clips going out on your social pages and your email. They don't know nobody attended. You're like, hey, we had a small crowd. It was my first event, but thanks for coming out. I love you guys. They don't need to know it's your sister, your brother, your cousin. They don't need to know that it's your VA, right? They don't need all that. What they need to know is that you had an event and you still want to share it and say, hey, I'll see you in 30 days. Come back to the next one. So that's what what kind of questions does that bring up for you? Anything?
No, it's better trying to take some notes. What I'm saying, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot, but um, once you have, there's a certain strategy and a certain map you want to follow every time. And once you know that you need the bare minimum to start with, and I use the acronym KISS if I ever use any acronym. I hate the rest of them, but it's keep it simple, stupid. And I did learn that from law enforcement. But you want to keep things as simple as possible because you can save yourself if the ship catches on fire and everybody's jumping off the boat into the water and into the boats. You want to know that you can save, right? You can see it ahead. You don't want it to get that bad. You want to start to know how to save yourself from it. And so know that it's going to be okay. Know that people are going to show up. Know that you have a group of people there. And then just market it. And that gets us to how far ahead do you want to plan it? If it's a workshop, you can do it in 2 weeks if you have a group of people. I mean, sometimes I have a lot more people watching the replay than I do that actually attend. But if I have 100, 200 people, I'm still generating leads. And so and it's different time of day. The last time I did the workshop was earlier in the day, so I got a higher attendance, and I think that's because I had a world, we have an audience that's global nowadays. So you want to look at that. If you're doing a summit, you want 2 to 3 months. You could do a summit in 6 weeks and under. I've done that and charged speakers for it, made some money off of it. I don't, it was a challenge for myself to just do it. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't pick a date and stick with it, nobody's going to want to speak on your stage. Nobody will commit to you. So commit to the date, hold the date, tell yourself why you're doing it, and you cannot keep changing the date. You cannot keep changing the time. You cannot do that. Sometimes there's delay, sometimes there's glitches in tech, but you gotta show up on time. Because people need to know when you're establishing yourself in the business, especially if you're doing on virtual, it's marketing. You're doing a lot of marketing and you're telling people what to do. And if they can't feel that they can trust you to show up, and if they can't feel that they can have you show up and shine without, telling about your personal life and everything that happened, they're not going to show up for you if you don't show up for them.
Right.
So let's get into, so when you're looking at, so we talked about creating offers. We talk about giveaways and value. Planning, that's a simple one. Speaking, free tickets, podcast. You want to get on podcast. that you know are going to be published before your event. That's a good way to do it in 3 months. If you're doing a summit, 2 to 3 months, because you can get on podcasts and talk about that with people. You can share that on your social media. Other people can you can tag people and share it. You might want to give free tickets away and have people pay for a VIP. But if you're doing more of a workshop, there's no reason to have a VIP. But what are you giving away in a VIP? What is value? So it depends on the subject that you're sharing. If you're really trying to educate people on something like solar, you probably want to give as much of it away as you can. That's why it's good to have the speakers pay to play, because you're still making money back. They can be sponsors. You can charge $200 to $500 for the sponsorships or more, depending on what you're giving
Okay.
people in your sponsorship package. That's something I talk about when I assess with my clients. And and you're making the money, and the reason you're charging your speakers is because it takes them time, it takes you money, it takes you out of pocket, and you're edifying them, you're giving them a stage. There are people that say, I don't pay for that. Okay, have a nice day. That's fine. No, it's no harm, no foul. That's okay. Thanks. Have a nice day. But you should also know, what are people going to be willing to pay for you? And that's what I go over with my clients. What are you looking at? What are you looking at making? If it's your first summit, maybe you charge people $20 to speak, $44 to speak, $100 to speak, and make sure that they're an engaging person. They don't have to be Tony Robbins. Maybe they're not Oprah or Don Rickles, and they're not super boisterous people, but make sure that they're really not boring. They can have a PDF, that's fine, or a presentation up there, but make sure that they engage with the audience, and that they talk about stuff with the audience and say, hey, what does this look like? And that's another thing, is talking to speakers, and that's what I do. I host speaker calls for my clients and say, hey, what are we looking at generating? What is our goal? What do we need to do? What will you do for your speakers? What are you doing for your speakers? Speakers want leads. If you want leads, leads cost money. That's just the bottom line. That's kind of how that works. You should have a landing page set up so people can find you. I put it in Event Raptor. I love putting the events in here, and this is what I do for my clients. So let me show you what Event Raptor looks like, and that you can get on there. So if you registered for this event, you probably saw that too on there. And I'll show kind of more what that looks like. I won't get into really boring, heavy stuff. So this thing never just goes away. I don't know why. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So this is the back office of Event Raptor. And you can see when you go to your on here, you see all these events I have. When I host a summit, if you're doing a workshop like this one today, it gets listed in your back office. And then you're making basically a landing page. You're creating a website. So this doesn't show this one because the registration period is officially over. So let me go back to the other page. But it shows all your speakers on this one. Okay, this one's next week. Here we go. It shows all your speakers. So here's the registration page for this one. And you can see this is actually a website. I do this for my clients, and I suggest wherever you have it, you need to have it somewhere, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, on the events page. You need to advertise for people. Maybe it's on your website that you share it. Drive traffic over there. People can sign up from here, and they can also see all the speakers on here.
Oh, that's
Here's
tomorrow.
Yeah, it is tomorrow. This is
Oh, okay.
tomorrow's event. Yeah, I'll share that with you guys. So we're having power hitters here, like Suzanne Taylor King. She's got a large audience. She's a great, intelligent person. She shares a lot of information. She's got a great membership program. But she reaches out to a lot of high ticket people. She's a great referral partner. Kimberly Crow, who's from Speakers Playhouse, is going to be on there tomorrow. So some really fantastic speakers, and she's a few million-dollar companies. So she started several companies. She's very successful, and she teaches speakers how to grab a mic and get on a stage. So this is this type of stuff that I share with people in the group, how to do this, how to build out the site, or why you want to build out the site, right? And so you can see on the back page, I can access all the speakers. I've got all their emails, events. If I want to look for other events, see, my event is listed. This is not my page here. This is the Event Raptor page. So the event, just like the last one we have, Sarah, goes out to 5,000 people just on this site alone. It gets shared on their LinkedIn, it gets shared in their Facebook. They share the event. So the owners of this share the event. They have a networking. So it's more marketing, it's more advertising. I get to go to their networking twice a month and talk about the events if I'm looking for speakers. If I'm sharing my stage, I get to share that with them. But unfortunately, tomorrow I don't get to be there because my event, this is so speakers can apply right here. These are the speakers that applied. So there's a bunch of stuff you can do to share your stuff. And so I also use ThriveCart. And that shares, so this landing page here, this is my membership, and I'll show you just as a landing page. You want two things for media. Where, oh, it's not showing. Oopsies. So for, let's see if I can get it generated. There it goes. And go back to share. Is it not showing on? Here it is. Okay. So this is another type of landing page. This is a second landing page. These things I build out for my customers. If they don't have it, there's ways to get it done for them. But first of all, you want a landing page. Why? Because you're generating leads. So people, whether they show or don't show, you want to get the leads. Secondly, people can find more about you. So there's other information and more about the speakers in the event. This is the Beyond the Stage membership. So it's really about crafting killer virtual summits, building thriving communities, maximizing sponsorships and revenue streams. So I build this and I explain a little bit more what the value is, what the takeaway, what you get. You go through strategies. So imagine you're here on a workshop. And I am also telling you this because these are ways I want you to think about your giveaways or your sales or your memberships that you're launching from the workshop or a summit. What do you want to share with people? What's your goal? Hey, I'm launching a membership. So, what does the membership include? It includes building communities, unlocking revenue opportunities, fostering relationships, and there's also bi-monthly group AMAs. Come in there, ask me anything. So you don't have there's twice a month that I meet with my group and say, "Hey, come in, ask me whatever you need to ask me. Hey, I'm doing an event. What do I do? Hey, I'm doing an event. What do I need? And what? Oh, you got to have your emails, got to have your social media ready. Here's how you do it. Here's how you do it quickly and just get it done because you're in a time crunch and you need to stop procrastinating. And here's the long, elegant, perfect way to do it, right? So I can work from both angles, and I encourage my clients to sometimes, if you're in paralysis analysis and you're like, I don't know what to write on my emails, I don't know when to send them out. And then you get in your head, and 3 or 4 weeks have passed. There's my camera again. 3 or 4 weeks have passed by, and you haven't gotten it done, and you just need to get it done. There's an easy way to do it. And you can always change it. You can always upgrade it. Hey, this didn't work the last summit or the last workshop. What do I do now? So do you guys have any questions?
No, I can't think of anything right at the moment. You've answered just about all my questions.
Yeah. So, so of course, it's just, I'm glad I can do that. Just want you to get thinking a little bit outside of the box and to
Does
know
this
that,
work for nonprofit events too?
yeah,
Does it work for nonprofit events?
yeah. Like
Okay.
Confronting Domestic Violence is a nonprofit. So I run
Yes,
summits
because
for them.
the
And
Mary
what
Kay
I,
Ash does domestic violence grants.
okay. Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to
Right
talk
now
more.
they do breast cancer and they do domestic violence. So this month I'm working on a virtual Halloween bingo as a fundraiser.
Well, that's
Um,
awesome.
the 30th. Yeah, the 30th.
So
So,
when you run an event, your event can either be about the nonprofit and your fundraising, or if like what I do is when I host the CEO entrepreneur events, those aren't about domestic violence, but a portion of the proceeds goes to support domestic violence, and then I can host a domestic violence summit, right? So it circles back into them. So
oh,
it's
okay.
called, I call it for a cause marketing. So if you're hosting your solar panel event and you charge your speakers, let's say you charge your speakers $100, you just tell them, hey, $5 for every speaker goes to this nonprofit. They don't have to think about it. They know that they're doing something good, and you're taking charge of getting the sponsorship, getting the donations in a different manner than having to go reach out to sponsors, because it's hard to do. I'm not a go-getter with the sponsors, but tell me more about like other events that you host virtually for them.
Oh, I just became an ambassador. This is the very first one that I've ever done.
Okay.
So, yeah, very first one. I've been involved with them before, um, but not on the level where I'm the one that has to do just about everything.
Mm.
As far as like my director, she told me what to do, like which websites we're allowed to use. And I think it's called event.com. And then you have to set up a separate bank account, which I did that already. Um, and some other things that I have to do. So I'm hoping to have everything all ready to go by this Friday so I could start promoting it the next 2 weeks. But see, a lot of the people that are involved, because it's the Mary Kay Ash Foundation, a lot of these are consultants, directors, clients, customers that will basically be coming, but also other people could come that aren't affiliated with um, the, the Mary Kay skincare. So yeah,
Oh, so
I'm
this is an
excited.
event that Mary Kay is hosting
Well,
for
it's the Mary
domestic
Kay
violence?
Ash Foundation. They're two different things. There's the Mary Kay skincare and
Mm-hmm.
cosmetic company, Ash Foundation, that it does cancer research and domestic violence. And I know in the other county that I lived in, our local domestic violence got a $20,000 grant from the Mary Kay Ash Foundation.
Yeah, we should talk
So,
deeper about this. I would love to, because perhaps we can do events together. We have an event coming up in January that I'm
oh,
putting
okay.
together to do this online, and we are going to have speakers, and there is going to be a speaker free. So we're not going to, it takes so much work. And especially if people are talking about a traumatic issue, it's harder to get people to
Hmm.
do stuff because what we try to do with this when we host events is really we kind of flip the script. We want to hear people. We want to be there for people. There's lots of people. I mean, you can imagine with all the security and law enforcement over the years and all the volunteering I did, there's a lot of stories I heard. But what our focus is really to change it around to post-traumatic growth. We want to teach you finances. We want to teach
Yes.
you how to get money. We want to teach you to stay free. You know, all that stuff that has to
Hmm.
happen. They talk about it all the time, but what a lot of people don't talk about is once you move out of that house, how do you stay out of there? How do you stay free? Got to have money, got to
Yeah.
have a support community. Well, if we educate the community, then the community is more apt to change and support you. Because if you notice, when people go home, whether it's from the hospital or from jail, they go back to that same horrible community. Well, if the community is doing more damage, they're not going to support you. They're not going to pick up the phone for you. So we want to get out there instead of banging our drum. And I think what you're doing is great. You're doing bingo. People like that. But we're focusing on doing these quarterly locked in solid this next year, and maybe
Oh,
doing a group
okay.
once a month. Um, but there is going to be a charge for speakers because you want to get on the stage. It's so hard, honestly, to get people to support. They're like, hey, I want to support, but they don't donate. Hey, I want to speak on your stage, but they don't donate. So it's like, look, if you're going to be on our stage and take our time, I think reciprocity is extremely important. Please put your money where your mouth is. Um,
Right.
you
Right.
have to have that conversation with people, and there's a lot that we've given away, and it's like, look, we need to start bringing it back and have people understand. I think you're re-victimizing yourself, and that's a bigger talk to have with people. If you don't charge money, you're re-victimizing yourself because you're letting people take advantage of you, and you're not having healthy
Right.
boundaries. You're not taking back control. So we want people to not just talk about mindset change, but do the change, be the change, actually put it out there. So that's what we're looking at. And it is something, very near and dear to my heart to make that change. So it's just the education and it follows along with getting on a virtual stage. If you're telling your story and you're still in your trauma, you're not healing anybody. And a
No.
lot of coaches are doing a disservice, I think, to people when they are bringing their pain to the stage and their trauma to their healing. You see that in a lot. If you go down YouTube, you see these people screaming and yelling, and they're like, "I'm a healing coach." Who are you healing? If you're bringing your trauma, you're causing more trauma. You're embedding trauma even further. So we
Right.
we
Right.
want people to change. But anyway, I'd love to hear more
And we want
about
to
you.
take them. We want to take the women that, in my opinion, that are domestic violence. We don't want to say, I'm a survivor. No, we want to say, I'm a victor. Like, I am victorious over all of this. Like, just surviving, I don't quite. That's like when you're talking about getting them to go to the next level with the how do you stay away? That's when they become victorious.
Mm-hmm. 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 You want to be a
Yes.
mentor. So you go from victim to survivor, and it's all these survivors that are still living in the overwhelm, still living in the pain, still
Right.
bringing the pain back up every time they talk to somebody. And it's the over empathy that they're sharing, and you can see that they're still on their soapbox banging their drum. There's no healing going on there. We want you to be the mentor. We want you to be glorious. If we're meant to be abundant beings, then we need to make money. We need to live in luxury. We're meant to live luxurious lives, whatever that looks like for us, right? If it's a nice car, a nice house, or good, healthy, wild, organic food, whatever that is for you. So yeah, that's what you do, and that all happens with a stage. If you don't grab the mic and get on the stage, it's not happening. You're the best kept secret. Why are you not
Very.
hosting your own event?
Hmm.
Right? You can't tell people about Mary Kay Ash if you're not having an event. And if only the Mary Kay Ash people are coming, which you said, which is fantastic, people from the outside are coming. You want new people coming in. Because otherwise you're just, talking to that same one group of people and you're not growing.
Very true.
So yeah, that's it. So we have talked about let's just do a little recap unless do you have any other questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, so let's just do a quick little recap if I'm on the right page here. We talked about a summit that builds your list, it grows your leads, finding out what your summit is about, what's your goal. Create an offer. Create an offer that you're going to share. What's your call to action after the event? What do you want people to do? Because if you have a captive audience, they're going to want to open their pocketbooks. And just know the majority of people from a summit that make money are probably within the power partners they find in other speakers because they work with the same aligned audience. That's why you want to have aligned speakers. Your audience will sooner or later buy from you and they want to see you. They want a place to drop in on. But that's where you are. Your lead magnet, your CRM, we talked about that, getting on podcast. Creating your offer, the support that you offer. What's that next to your speakers? How long do you want to plan the summit? 2 to 3 months. It depends on how, like if you have a Mary Kay Ash summit that you're doing, they'll probably show up tomorrow. You know, Jean does stuff in 24 hours and the room's full. She'll do something in 2 hours. The room's full. People show up for her. So it just depends on knowing your audience. If you have a cold audience, you want to plan a little bit longer. Are you charging your speakers? Are you doing free tickets? Filling the summit with your audience? Are you engaging? If you don't engage your audience, no one's going to show up from the outside. And then make a list of speakers that you want to invite and your power partners. The last thing is really the tech. You know, the behind the scenes I talked about. Where are you going to host your landing page? Where are you going to host your gift? Is it Thrivecart or Keep? How does that work? Are you doing all that? If you set it and forget it, you set it up now, you know, then you can use it each and every time. You should have evergreen offers that are forever. That you just have to tweak a little bit if you need to upgrade it. Maybe you need to upgrade a branding or something. And so we've talked a lot about stories and how it affects our life, but you really got to talk to each other. And your time is your precious asset. So really, whether you get in on the membership or you're looking for a VIP day or you're looking to really host a workshop or summit, reach out. You guys, let's connect. We should really connect and schedule an appointment. That's in the chat. If you can't find it, let me know. I'd love to talk to you guys one-to-one and help you out when you're planning your events and doing a little bit more with you. I think it's important to not just hold an event, but hold an event with intention. You want outcome. You want to take action, but you want outcome and you want to give commitment to people. So thank you so much for being here. That PDF is in there. And it'll give you more of a little rundown on hosting a virtual event. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my YouTube in there as well. And
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, because I have a playlist for virtual summits.
Okay.
We're on LinkedIn, so that's the best place to find me. So playlist. See how where'd it go? Oh wow. Here it is. Get the link for that. Yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, just give me a holler, reach out to
Okay.
me. You know, definitely. I'm open to helping you out and I really want you to thrive and shine. So yeah, any last questions?
No, I can't think of any.
Alrighty then, ladies. There will be a replay. If you want the replay, just reach out to me. Let me know and I'll send it out to you. I'll probably just send it out to the list that
Oh, I definitely would need the replay. I know I took a lot of notes, but I'm sure there are some things sometimes when I'm taking notes that I miss something. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So Sarah, did you have any questions?
No, I don't have at this time,
Well,
but I would like to see the replay also.
awesome. Absolutely. Absolutely. Save that on that one and add that new video in there. Definitely. So I will send it out to you. Thank you for being here and giving me your time. It's great to see you, ladies.